here is a clip from Ruben. And the question I'm posing is, should Ruben Amaran be sacked? Let's take a look at what he said, people.
Is open. If the board and the fans feel that I'm not the right guy, I will go in the next day without any conversation about compensation. But I will not quit again. I'm really confident on my job. And as you can see, I will not change nothing in the way I do things. In this moment, is really, I'm not going to be here defending myself. It's not my style. I cannot do it. Is really hard for me. So I have nothing to show to the fans and say, I'm going to improve because of this. I had these problems. I will not do nothing. So in this moment is a little bit of faith.
What do you make of that? He said, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to say I need better players or I need this or I need that, which I think is commendable. But he's also said that if the board bring him in for a meeting today and say, we don't want you anymore, he'll walk compensation free. What's your take on that? And a lot of people this morning asking for him to be sacked. They think he is, again, we're at this point, again, the biggest problem at the club. What's your thoughts, mate?
Well, I've called him Ruben Hood before because he takes money, and gives to the poor. Take the compensation and give it to charity, mate. Don't leave it in the fucking Glazer's pocket. So I definitely take the compensation. That's interesting. Matthew is in the chat saying, look, I'd rather have Garnacho, what he said, than what we've seen from some players saying we need the fans to keep the faith. I mean, that's effectively what Amorim's saying. We need the fans to keep the faith. And faith sort of runs out a little bit. I think Amorim, I back Amorim. He's not going to get sacked. I'm not going to waste time talking about Amorim getting sacked. What I would ask you, Terry, as well, is this the beginning of the end for Amorim? Because I think that is, as somebody who backs the manager, and I backed Ten Hag really late, I backed Oli late, I backed Mourinho late, and I'll back Amorim late. That's what I'll do. Everyone knows that. I'm not about to go Amorim out. I just won't do it. But I think I lost something last night as an Amorim supporter. I think he showed a real glaring weakness that I was like, it was so obvious what Spurs were doing. And like you say, he didn't need the creative players centrally because it was lockdown. He needed to put wingers on the wing and remove the fullbacks because they weren't attacking. Got 3 centre-backs and 2 fullbacks. We had no men in the box. We can't play through the middle. Bruno Mount was redundant. Get some wingers on, get somebody in the box, start attacking down the flanks because that's what they're giving you. He didn't do it. And his subs were really late and he thought we played well. And I just think, you know what, you've basically been beaten by an Australian Tony Pulis last night. Even Ange admitted he parked the bus. It's not the way Spurs play, but they just got a job done. So I think with Amorim, yeah, like he was stubborn last night. And stubbornness is a good trait, but it can also be a bad trait. And I think what he's basically saying there is that I'm never going to change the way I play, but he needed to change. Not the system, just needed to get different players in the right position. But I mean, do you not think that's the beginning of the end for Amorim in the longer term? And also, do you not think a manager saying basically what Bruno said as well, if the club want to sell me, I'll go. If the club want me to go, I'll go. I mean, it's a little bit like that's the captain and the manager as the representatives of our club basically going, if they want me to go, I'll go. And I probably need a little bit more than that at the moment. We don't need, if you want me to go, I'll go. We actually need, I ain't fucking going anywhere. I believe in this project. I believe in this football club. It's a little bit white flag, really.
Yeah, I think I interpret it a little bit differently. I looked at it as someone, I mean, it could be the beginning of the end. And there are a lot of people that want him sacked. I disagree. It's not that I disagree with sacking him. It's when people break down and you listen to why, they're putting a lot of the issues on Ruben Amarim, the system, the way we're playing. And again, I didn't think the system was so much the issue last night. It was the lack of quality and the lack of physicality from players in those positions. And I feel that if you put better players on the pitch last night, I think we win the game. Some people will disagree with that. And we can just agree to disagree. We can have that conversation. I'm not defending Amorim directly, though. It's not about whether we sack him or not. Too many Man United fans ignore the root cause problems at Manchester United. And we've done this for every single manager in and manager out debate. For instance, I think there's a player issue at the club. I think a lot of these players pick and choose when to turn up. I think we have a lot of these players that when it comes to certain big games that they don't show up. And I did a preview on Monday. I said this on the United Stand Monday when I was on, or Tuesday, whichever day I was on, maybe Monday. Monday afternoon. That for me, the only thing that would disappoint me is if we didn't turn up, if we didn't show a little bit of authority. And I don't know about you, but I've seen these players under Amorim play so much better with more authority, get their foot on the ball, play better passes, show that they have the cojones to do it. So I don't think that Amorim last night made those players a shadow of what they can be, because I've seen them do that. Because I've seen all these tweets come out today, for instance, like this. He wouldn't have allowed this to happen. You get all this revisionism.
Yeah,
and for me...
Well, the fans forced him out. We've done the shows. Yeah.
And if we're going to be honest, well, of course he wouldn't have lost the final last night, Ten Hag, because he's record in Europe. He doesn't get the finals. He doesn't even get to the finals. So but we do this all the time. We do this revisionism. And I think if we just listen to some of these United fans and we sack him today, we adapt to the players, or it's okay, or play you in your favorite position. You don't want to run that hard. It's okay. We'll sit in a bit of a low block and we'll buy a few pacey players so you guys don't have to work as hard and you can sit in and we'll counter. That'll all work in the short term until we get into the top 6 again or the top 8 and the manager goes, right, I need some better players technically on the ball. We need to adapt the system. But what it means, guys, is that it means 100% effort in 100% of the games, 100% of the time. And the players go, but I don't want to do that. So they start downing tools again. And then what will happen is we'll go, do you remember when Ruben said we had to suffer? He was right. The same as we're now revising Ten Hag. The same as before, during the Ten Hag's bad times. How many people started re-quoting Ralph Rangnick after saying he was an idiot and a bum? When Ollie was suffering, Jose was right. Coming second was the best achievement ever. We will end up in the same position again. So for me, it's not about sacking Amorim or not. He isn't the biggest problem at the club. Great, sack him if you want. If that's your opinion, that doesn't fix us. The same as sacking Ten Hag, sacking Jose, sacking Van Gaal, sacking Ollie. None of those direct actions. And we did. I think Ten Hag's a better manager than Ollie, as an example. I think Jose's a better manager than LVG. So we've up levels each time. We haven't consistently in the league become a better team, which tells me over 12 years, Mark, the managers have never been the root cause problem at the club because we've progressively got worse. Player power is a massive issue. Players playing when they want, downing tools, and a technical issue at the club. We don't have good enough players. That's a big thing. The other element is this. I'm looking at INEOS today, mate. I don't know about you. I have been different approach to you. I've agreed with a lot of what you've said about them. I've slammed what they've done with the redundancies. I hate the way it's operating. I don't
You've
like
looked for the good in them, haven't you?
But I'm waiting to see the proof in the pudding. Year one, I can categorically say disastrous. I'm now looking more at them this summer. I don't care. To a degree, I want Amorim to stay. But if they sack him, great. But we still need to go out and buy better, more technical, more physical players with a better mindset. That doesn't change irrespective of who the head coach is. If we don't improve this squad, next year we might be 4 or 5 places higher in the league. But if you look at our trajectory over 12 years, we're going to keep getting worse unless we improve all those elements of the squad. The manager, of course, he has an important role. But I still think as fans, we're ignoring the root cause problem of this football club, because irrespective of the head coach or the manager, we have progressively got worse over a 12-year period. And to ignore that, for me, it's sacrilegious. It's you are clutching at low-hanging fruit, but you're deluding yourself. Just sacking Amorim isn't the problem at the club, the same as all the previous managers were. So for me, sack him or don't sack him, great. I'm looking at what these owners do in terms of improving our squad, because our squad is I thought it was poor. It's beyond that. It's worse than I ever imagined. And the more sophisticated system, by the way, has exposed it. Massive work needs to happen this summer, mate. Massive work.
Yeah, also, and I think just to respond to that, but also let's not forget, well done to Tottenham, but also Son didn't start. Kulusevski, Maddison, and Bergwall, 3 of their best players, injured. I mean, it would have been an opportunity for Man United to win that game where we would have been getting away with it anyway. To lose to that Spurs team is even worse. So that's how bad it is for Man United. And fundamentally, even if we were in the Champions League next year, that team's still shit. It still needs players. And I look at even if you're in the Champions League next year, it's a survival, it's a financial thing. God knows what happens to United now. But if we were in the Champions League next season, there are a lot of teams in Europe next season from the Premier League. So you might not get the 5 spots. You might only get 4. I wouldn't put Man United in the top 5 next season, even if we had Champions League money. And I certainly won't put us there next year. Every team that's in the Champions League is getting £100 million more than Man United next season and this season. And it only takes 3 or 4 seasons, and it's nearly £500 million more revenue. The strong are getting stronger, and Man United are getting weaker. So I feel like INEOS and the Glazers are still living off we're Man United. We're Man United. But the league is unforgiving. It doesn't, if you're Real Madrid or Barcelona, you can have a shit season and still finish third. You can't do that in the Premier League. It's unforgiving. No. And look at where we're going to finish this year. So I think Manchester United, in relation to what the approach is, what really frustrates me is that, and I've said it so many times, if this was Liverpool Football Club, the Glazers wouldn't be here. They'd be gone years ago. I don't know. 75,000 people will turn up on Sunday. Why? I'm entitled to that opinion. Why? We're going on this end of season tour next week. Why are people turning up? Because that's why the Glazers are here. They can shit on your face and you will applaud it. Like they really are looking at it going, this is incredible. We're still making money out of these absolute morons. And look at where we are as a football club.
Yeah.
What we need is, and I've seen other clubs do it, and we won't do it because our owners won't put money in. What you need is, in this situation in football, you cannot just go, we've got to cut, we've got to sack, we've got to reduce, because you're weakening yourself. Everyone else is spending. What I would do is I would be like, Gyökeres, what's it going to take? What's it going to take? What can we build in this contract that in a year, if we're not in Europe, you can leave? Edison, what's it going to take? I'd be going around these players saying, look, in 1 year, we'll be back in the Champions League. We're building something here. But we haven't got the money to do it.
Well, there's a comment here. INEOS must deliver this summer 6 quality players. On top of that, I wanted to pose this point to you. This was put out on Twitter last night by a guy called Mike, who says INEOS are going to have to be brave and probably accept future sanctions. To be honest, the last thing we can afford to do is go into next season without major upgrades. If it means we take a fine down the road, so be it. You're not getting anywhere by persisting. And there is an element of me that agrees with this, along the lines of lose money. You might get a 10-point deduction as an example. But if we're 30 points better off next season and you get a 10-point deduction, in the short term, that might be worth it. It might be worth taking a points deduction under the PF, because remember, there's no FFP issue now. We're not in Europe. So we've actually got more leeway to spend than if we were in Europe. So that will help us on accounting levels. And I keep seeing a lot of people say this is the beginning of the end for Man United. There is no money. Look, this club generates money. There is, like, if Bournemouth can buy good, we still have more money than Bournemouth's, Newcastle's, Brighton's. If they can sign good players, so can we. And that's why I'm really focusing on them. We need, as you say, a lot of people are going now, the Gyökeres deal can't happen. I agree, Arsenal are favourites. But there should be a knee-jerk reaction where they go, do you know what? We were going to offer him 200 grand a week. How about we offer him 250 grand a week? Because we need it now. We need it now more than ever.
That's what I mean, Terry. Football clubs have done that. We know this over the years. Like, how do you think Man City went from a shitty team to a top 4 team? Because they went and said, we're going to give you more money than everyone else.
No, I couldn't agree with you more on that, mate. There's a few comments I want to go to his super chats. First one says, a manager who selects Shaw, Mount, Højlund in a starting 11 and made his first substitution in the 70th minute should be sacked immediately. Being young is not an excuse. I also don't. Yeah, I mean, who you're bringing in?
Yeah,
does that actually improve us in the long term? Is my questions. Thirdly, a manager making a mistake in a final isn't an indication that it'll never be good enough. I've seen the greatest managers of all time pick the wrong teams and make mistakes in finals. It happens. At the same time, and this is why fine margins are important, if Van der Ven doesn't clear that ball off the line and we equalise and we go on to win, we'd all be saying, well, he got it spot on. There are fine margins in this. He did make a mistake. For me, I wouldn't look at last night in isolation as a reason to sack him or not with where Man United are. If we were 4 years in, he's had 400 million, 500 million, 600 million spent, and we're losing finals like that, and we're getting nowhere near title races, then I would absolutely fundamentally agree with you. But I said before the game yesterday, I stand by it. My mindset hasn't really changed. We won, I'd be happy, but it's still a long way to go to be better. We lost, so I feel sad and deflated. but there's still a long way to go to get better. I still don't. And this super chat here for me probably sums it up best. Sacking Amorim is no different to you washing your car in the middle of a thunderstorm and expecting the car to be squeaky clean at the end. I think there's so much truth in that. I don't think he is one of our biggest issues. Where the problem will lie, it's not with him directly. If we are not going to buy the players that the way we're trying to play football needs, then we are better off sacking him. Does that make sense? If we're not going to bring in the faster, stronger, quicker players, we're just going to spend 100 million this summer on Cunha and Delap and go, there you go, Ruben. You are better off sacking him and bringing in Sean Dyche. You're better off getting Southgate. You're better off with a manager that can go, right, with this shitty group of players, I can get you in the top 10. I can get you in the top 8. That's what we need. If you're going to bring in someone like Ruben, you need to buy him the players that his squad needs. So for me, it's a little bit chicken and egg. If we're going to keep him, we have to buy the players that are required. There's no point keeping him and not giving him the players. That's kind of strange. It's like you sending your team off to oh, you're going to go Bilbao, Beth, but you're not getting a camera or a microphone. I need great content. See you later. It's it's stupid. The only reason to sack Amorim would be if you believe he is unable to rebuild with these owners. Great point, Patrick. Any manager will need years because we can't. It seems the owners can't back him properly financially. It is going to take years. I think that Man United fans have got to wake up to that. Our fan base is a joke. Are they asleep? I still don't think some Man United fans have ever grasped the root cause problems at this club. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I sneezed.